Hey guys, it's Hypnos. Welcome to the only channel that reacts to Hull City football and analyzes it. Without further ado, let's get into it. Today, Hull City hit the pitch versus Charlton Athletic, and it ended in a 1-0 win for Charlton Athletic. Unfortunately, this game was painful to watch, honestly. It was a bad match, and after about the first 20 minutes, we were dead in the water. We had no grit, no fight, to be honest, and it was tough to watch as a diehard Hull fan. Because you're in Corona for like 100 days, literally 100 days, and every day I thought about Hull City coming back and playing because I love Hull City football just like the rest of you guys. And we came back and we laid a goose egg. I mean, we played Charlton Athletic in a game that we have to win, to be honest, because Charlton is right under us in the table, and if they leapfrog us, we go down into the relegation zone. And this is something all the players knew, all the fans knew, the manager knew. We knew this was almost a must-win game, even though there's 8 games left and there's still time for us to dig ourselves out of the relegation zone. This was almost a must-win game, and Charlton pulled it out, and they leapfrog us because we played bad. We played horrible, and it starts up front because in our 4-2-3-1, the striker is up there, but he still has service from his wings and the center attacking mid. And Eves played horribly. Okay, Eves played absolutely horribly. It was painful to watch because Eves did nothing. I mean, he had, I want to say, 3 touches his entire time on the pitch. 3 touches, turned over the ball, no shots, no touches inside the box, and no assists, no goals, no nothing in a game. We needed our striker to show up. And he's not even our striker. Jackson Irvine leaves. Obviously, he was playing for us. He has 5 goals. Unfortunately, with Grigitsky leaving and Bowen leaving, he's our leading goal scorer. But he's got 5 goals in 30 to 35 games. So he's a painful striker to watch, and he's not a good striker. He's flat out is not a good striker. Tom Eves played bad in this game, and overall he's not a good striker except for a few throw-in games where he plays all right and has a goal, but he's not a good striker. A few things I took away was the defense played well. Jordy DeVois came back, and that was big for us. Angus McDonald comes back. We have 2 big center backs that come back for us, which was very important, very big for us. They played great. Callum Elder whipped in some good crosses. He was the only one who could provide service inside the box. I don't know if you guys noticed that, but our crosses were so bad. Of course you noticed it. Every cross we took, we either overshot the box or undershot the box or just flat out kicked it out of bounds. Callum Elder, I'm convinced after this game, is the only one who can give in a cross besides a corner. The only one who can put in a cross in the box that's not from a corner. And Pennington played all right. I mean, he got beat around the edge sometimes, but he didn't let up any crucial goals. He didn't let up any goals at right back. He's all right. He's on loan from Everton, so we're putting him to good use, and he played all right. George Long didn't play horrible. There weren't too many shots on him, so it's hard to say how many saves or how the quality of his saves and the quality of his game. The 1 goal that was scored is partially or mainly on him. I mean, the cross comes in and there's a shot on. He deflects it off right to Addix, the Charlton Athletic captain, and he basically runs it into the goal 18 minutes into the game. So that was definitely on George Long, and that was painful. It was painful. I mean, you always want to score the first goal, and Addix just kind of ran it in. But George Long didn't play horrible. That 1 goal was mostly on him, though. So the defense was fine. like I said, the real problem was Tom Eves up top. Terrell played good in the middle, especially the first 20 minutes. He played great. After that, he kind of tapered off because Charlton Athletic really focused on him for a good amount. Bowler had some good runs. Bowler definitely had some good runs. Just couldn't whip in a good ball. Malik Wilkes was off his game. Personally, my favorite player, Malik Wilkes. He's on loan from Barnsley, but we do have a loan to buy clause that I would love if we activated the loan to buy clause. And I know we're trying to do it, but the wages or the fee isn't matching up with Barnsley and Malik Wilkes right now. But I hope we get that done by the end of the month, because I believe that's our deadline. Personally, he's one of my favorite players, and at right mid, as one of my favorite players at right mid, he just plays great. He's got 3 goals, 1 assist in a short period of matches, and we need him. With Bowen and Grugitsky gone, we need mids, and he's a good one. But he played bad this game. He didn't provide any service on crosses. Didn't help Eves too much, but I swear Eves is just bad. And he didn't get too many good shots. He didn't get any shots on goal or any shots, period. So Malik Wilkes played bad, but we need him to show up against Birmingham next week on Saturday. But other than that, I mean, right now we're facing a relegation battle. It's as simple as that. Holes in the bottom 3. If the season ended today, we would be relegated. And we've been on horrible form. We haven't won in the past 10 games. We haven't won since January 1st. Really, let that sink in. Let that sink in. The whole City Tigers haven't won since January 1st. I understand coronavirus hit, but still, that's horrible. There are no other words. I mean, we haven't won since January 1st, and it's a problem. Grant McCain, I mean, there's not much to say. A lot of the comments on the state of the team have been about the owner. Granted, deservedly so. We don't have a huge transfer budget, and like all other fans, I would like him to sell the team. But another aspect is that a lot of the fans are sticking the problems on the players, and definitely some recognition goes there. But I still think Grant McCain isn't not to blame. I think he definitely has some blame on his shoulders, and he understands that, because we're in the bottom 3 and everyone is held responsible, from the fans to the players and the managers and the owner. And it's a real problem, and Grant McCain could get sacked. And personally, I think he's done all right, but we're in the relegation zone, so what's there to say? His formation, 4-2-3-1's, it's a decent formation. Leaves the striker with some service, but he's still kind of out there. So for it to work, we need a good striker, and that is something we don't have in Eves. But the substitutions, I didn't hate. I actually liked a couple of them, and overall, I liked the substitutions. Josh Mangus came in for Tom Eves. I just wanted Eves out of there, to be honest. Eves was horrible. There's no other way to say it. Eves was bad. 3 touches, none in the box, no shots. No shots on target, no shots. But Josh Mangus came in, played better than Eves, didn't play great. Too many times he would run away from the goal, dribble away to the side, veer off to the side, and then not whip a ball in. He definitely got some crosses. He definitely won some corners for us, which was big. But he's a big-bodied striker, and we needed goals from him or service to wingers inside the box, and he didn't provide that, so he played all right. George Honeyman also came on for Terrell. John Terrell was probably one of our, if we had a man of the match, he'd be up there with competition for our defense with McDonald and Device. But he definitely had to come off because I believe he's on a time restriction, and I saw George Honeyman got a decent amount of hate for coming on that early for Terrell. Not too many people liked that substitution. I personally, I liked it. George Honeyman, he played good as a center attacking mid for Terrell. Terrell just had to come off because because he's on a time limit and we don't want him to get hurt. He's definitely a crucial part to this team, especially with some players leaving like Marcus Madsen, because Marcus from Peterborough was a big part of this team and he was this center attacking mid, and Terrell has filled that hole very well. He might be better than Madsen in my opinion. After that, James Scott came on for his debut. That was definitely very big for us. He went to left wing for Bowler, and I say that was big for us as the whole City family because it's just nice to see him get his debut. We obviously acquired him in January, and he's been hurt and not on the team until now, but the coronavirus has allowed us to see him actually in action, so that was definitely nice to see. He had a couple good touches, one good run, and he was just energetic. He was a new body, and that in itself is big. I definitely look forward to seeing him in the Birmingham game as well, and in other games, in the Middlesbrough game. But I'm definitely happy with him on the debut and the fact that we got him in January and he's healthy now. Keane Lewis-Potter came on as well for Wilkes, I believe, but he played in a more central striker position with Mangus. Obviously, Wilkes was a right mid. He kind of played there, but he also got up a lot. Keane Lewis-Potter had one of the 2 chances, honestly. We only had 2 serious chances. Early, Terrell had a nice flick header that could have gone in, that could have changed the momentum of the game right off the bat, but that didn't go in. And then Keane Lewis-Potter had a cross come in from Elder, and he almost flicked that in, so close, but he just couldn't get his foot to it. So I like the way Keane played. He touched the ball a lot more than Eves, and he got in there. And he's another good striker with versatility that I'd definitely like to see more. And then Samuelson came in really late in the game, didn't contribute much, didn't have too much time. Personally, he's a striker I'm not in love with. I definitely keep him on the reserves bench, but I'm not in love with him. I'd like to see Keane Lewis-Potter get the start at striker and then maybe bring Mangus or Samuelson on, because Eves should not play. If he gets another start, I don't know what to say. He played so bad this game. I don't care what he's done. He just played horrible. I would not like to see him in a game again. Obviously, I mean, I don't know. Eves played so bad. But those were the substitutions, and I personally liked them. I liked what Grant did as the manager. It's just tough. We're in the relegation zone, and some of the blame is obviously on him, but he's done his best. I like the substitutions this game. The formation is classic Grant McCann. So it's the manager's been all right. Too many people are ripping him, in my opinion. He's definitely not been great, but he's been good. He's been adequate, in my opinion. And then the players that we were missing, Leo da Silva Lopez, that was definitely a problem for me, because about 2 hours after the game, it reported a reported illness, sick. He was ill, couldn't make the game, and I definitely think he'd make a difference in the center defensive mid area, because we had Herbie Kane and Daniel Batty back there. If he had come on for one of those two, it would have been sensational. I think, or he would have started over those two. I think Herbie Kane's obviously on loan from Liverpool, plugged in over Herbie. However, Herbie Kane played better than Daniel Batty. So if he just played in the place of Batty, I think things could have been different. The ball would have gotten up more. He would have played great defensively. Obviously, he's rather small, but that doesn't matter. He's been great for us, and he's a permanent signing. He's definitely on the team for the long term as a young, good player. So I would have loved to see him out there. Obviously, an illness, not much you can do there. But I hope to see him against Birmingham, because if we want to crawl out of the bottom three, we're going to need him healthy and playing well. I also would have liked to see Kevin Stewart as a sub. Only one of the issues I had with the substitutions, I personally liked him, like I said before. But obviously we had to get strikers and attackers in the game, because we needed to either get a draw or get a win, and we didn't score a goal. But Grant McCain had to put strikers in to produce a goal, produce an assist or something, and just get the team forward. But I would have liked to see Kevin Stewart maybe start over Herbie Kane or Daniel Batty with Leo Da Silva Lopez out. I would have rather seen him than Batty. No matter, Batty just wasn't really there, non-existent, didn't make too much of an impact, and I would have rather seen Kevin Stewart there as a good 25-year-old player. I think he could have made a bigger difference there. So, final thoughts. I mean, we missed Marcus Madsen, Stephen Kingsley, Jackson Irvine, Eric Legit because they left the team. We didn't extend their contracts during Corona, but I don't think that was the major issue with how we played. We just didn't really have too much grit. We were dead in the water. No enthusiasm. That was the problem in the second half. And Eves, I keep coming back to it, but Eves played horrible. There are no words. I would love to see us bring in another striker. I've talked up James Scott and Keane Lewis Potter, but James Scott can play left wing as well as striker, and Keane Lewis Potter is young. I still think he's good, but I would like to see another striker brought in so we can just have someone who can get goals. I mean, the days of Abel Hernandez were amazing. Obviously, Abel was not one of a kind, but he was special to us. But I just like to see us bring in another striker to compete with Keane Lewis Potter and James Scott and provide some goals. So it's some form of what Abel had when we got promotion to the Premier League. Because honestly, we need goals, and Tom Eves isn't providing it. Irvine's gone. Josh Mangus just doesn't get it done. Keane Lewis Potter is close, but he's too young, and James Scott is good, but obviously the first game back for James Scott. So and we can play him out left wing, which would be good. So I'm gonna make a transfer video coming up in the next couple days on if we could bring in a striker. We're rumored about a Scottish striker in the Scottish Premier League that we might bring in, which would be absolutely amazing. Any striker to be brought in would be great. And Scott Fisher, who plays in League One, that would be a great signing. He's definitely would be a good presence in the midfield for us. So I'll make a video on the transfer rumors of Hull City and maybe a preview of the Birmingham game, and then obviously a reaction and analysis of the Birmingham game that is in a week. So guys, I hope you like this first video that is focused on the Hull City team. I've been an avid fan for over 10 years. I love the team and watching every game, and I hope we get out of this rut that we're in and we don't get relegated to League One. But anyways, stick around, subscribe, and welcome to the only channel on YouTube that focuses on Hull City football and reacts to Hull City football and analyzes it. Thank you guys. Subscribe and see ya.